Teaching English Radio India.
A radio series for teachers of English.
Brought to you by the British Council.
Hello and welcome to today's program. I am Manisha Dag. I'm a teacher and trainer, and as usual, I'll be introducing the ideas of teachers across India. The topic for today's program is teachers supporting each other, and here are just some of those who are supporting our program today.
I'm Shobha from Bangalore.
I'm Altaf from Raichur in Karnataka.
I'm Kalpana from Bangalore.
I'm Jitendra from Anand.
I'm Kamini. I'm from Delhi.
Teaching can sometimes be a rather lonely task. Many teachers don't get the chance to discuss professional issues. They sometimes struggle to feel motivated as they face long hours and large classes. And they'd like the chance to develop their own teaching.
For years, I'm doing one kind of teaching. There may not be anybody to tell me where I'm good or where I'm bad.
A teacher at a government school is very focused on the course book, and the primary aim is to finish X number of units in the given time.
First thing is to become aware of their own problems. Teachers have to develop themselves on their own, find local solutions, and discuss your problems. Once you start discussing, you'll start finding solutions.
Do you also feel like these teachers? Teacher Kalpana explains the problem that many have to face.
A teacher who is isolated and so far away should have interaction with the other teachers once a month at least. Those teachers should come in contact with the other teachers and exchange their views. They can exchange and clear their doubts.
Very true. Teachers need contact with each other to share materials, opinions, and even worries. To develop in a profession, we need the chance to learn from others and exchange ideas. It would be ideal if people can come out to help support and train teachers who are feeling isolated. But it may not always be possible. What we need is some ideas that teachers can follow without such help. Here comes teacher and trainer Jitendra to the rescue with a 2-point plan.
Teachers don't realize that they have to develop themselves. They have to develop their own language, their own skills. My suggestion to them would be, first thing is to become aware of their own problems. Instead of just analyzing or assessing students' language, he has to look at his own teaching style, look at the environment there, try analyzing how he himself is teaching, because nobody is going to tell him. Second thing is deciding that he has to do something about it. So he must interact with his colleagues or friends or other teachers in the area. Try developing some platform. We try to develop our college as a hub for getting these teachers together, sharing ideas.
So, self-help is important. Teachers can get together regularly and learn from each other. But where? Is there a staff room or classroom they can use? Or how about a tea stall?
Almost all regions have some kind of a hub, some center, even a tea stall where teachers can sit and have an informal chat. So why not sit at a tea stall and discuss your problems?
By meeting up with other teachers in your school or in your area on a regular basis, teachers can achieve a lot. They can feel more motivated. They can get together to plan lessons and to make materials and then share these resources. Have you tried this? Teachers can also improve their English in the process. Teacher Shobha agrees that getting together and exchanging ideas about teaching is vital as part of our development. But she also suggests that teachers can help each other by watching each other. A little friendly peer observation.
In a school, there'll be number of teachers working, like more than 2, 3, where each can have an opportunity to observe each other's class. The one who is observing the other teacher's class can give feedback after the observation is completed on different areas of teaching, like how the group activity went on, how the lesson started off. Was the teacher dominant or the student? Was learning happening with the children?
As Shobha says, the important question is about learning. Is what you are doing helping the students to learn? For example, are you concentrating on the students near the front and ignoring the groups at the back? Could your instructions be clearer? Have you rushed through an activity in a way that some of your students are confused? Remember that the person observing may well pick up some good ideas from watching someone else. It can be a two-way process.
Observing teacher can give positive feedback for areas of improvement. Okay, like the teacher who is teaching may not know what's going right and wrong, but the observer will definitely know where actually the teaching went low or it was of not success. So these areas can be suggested to the teacher to make corrections in future so that she can improve her teaching and also make it learner centered, where language will be acquired, so to develop the skills.
I have learnt a lot from observing my peers. Not only interesting activities, but also useful tips for classroom management. I remember how one teacher used to give colourful marbles to her students as incentives for a correct answer or behaving well in the class. Each marble carried points which they would add up at the end. It really excited the students. A lovely idea, isn't it? Before you ask someone to observe you, it is a good idea to think about what aspects of your teaching you want them to focus on. For example, you could ask them, "Please watch the way that I give instructions and deal with feedback." It can really help our professional development as teachers. But observation does need to be a positive experience, as Kalpana explains.
What happens is, if my colleague is a friend, she will give me constructive feedback, which is very important. I think that way peer observation works well. If he or she just points, just observes my lesson and says, "Oh, you went wrong there, you went wrong here," I wouldn't take it, definitely.
You're listening to Teaching English Radio India, a series for teachers of English, brought to you by the British Council.
In today's program for teachers of English, our topic is teachers supporting each other. And here is teacher Altaf. He says, getting useful feedback is essential for our development as teachers.
In the absence of the feedback, the teacher may not grow. For years, I am doing one kind of teaching, but there may not be anybody to tell me where I am good or where I am bad, what are my strengths and what are my weaknesses. So unless I have feedback on my teaching as a teacher, my growth is not assured.
We asked Altaf if he could give an example of feedback that had helped him. He invited a friend to observe him, and it changed everything.
When I used to read the text, the speed used to be very fast, and very, very little interaction used to happen between me and my children. It was I who used to read the text, and then I used to just explain the text, and there it used to end. But then a close friend of mine observed my lesson, and he also observed the children's interaction as well. He told me that you can prove yourself a wonderful English teacher if you bring interaction into it. And then I thought that why not?
Altaf's friend and colleague watched not just how he was teaching, but also what the students were doing. He noticed that the students were very passive, and so he pointed out that they needed to interact more. This got Altaf really thinking.
Then I changed a few things, and on my own I got sometimes ideas that nowadays in my classroom I make the children present the lesson in picture form. They have to draw the pictures for every stanza or every verse, and these days my classroom is full of drawings and pictures which are the pictorial presentations of the lessons.
Like Altaf and other colleagues, I have certainly benefited from observation and also by being observed. I was told that I speak very fast, which I had never realized earlier. So now I try to slow down. Undoubtedly, teachers can really learn a lot from each other. Let's hear one more point. What about new teachers? Chetna has travelled all over India training teachers, and she suggests that new teachers can be matched with those who are more experienced.
Well, definitely. There are some teachers who are absolutely new with no experience whatsoever, and whereas there are others who have a lot of experience. So I think it's a good idea to sort of enable the new teacher, not really inexperienced, I would call her a new teacher, to a new approach. So the teacher who has a lot of experience could help her. The way we have done it here is that normally when a new teacher walks in, they're sort of matched with an experienced teacher. They share classes. So one class, the experienced teacher goes through as she teaches, and the new teacher actually observes. And at the end, she sort of might ask a couple of questions as to how to do things differently or how she didn't understand a few steps. And then the new teacher plans her lesson. Then the experienced teacher kind of supports her, tells her maybe to modify it or to go through it. And then while she teaches, the experienced teacher sits and observes and gives her some feedback. I think it's an excellent process of actually supporting each other. And by the end of it, I think the teacher who is quite new to the course as well to the environment feels far more comfortable and feels stronger.
Chetna told us how new teachers can benefit from the advice and support of more experienced ones. And sometimes new teachers can be a breath of fresh air and bring some good ideas into their schools. We have heard a lot of different ways that teachers can support each other to develop their teaching. So before we go, let's remember a few of them. Would any work for you? We need to make contact with others, so find a way to get together to discuss problems, plan lessons, make materials, and share resources. Don't wait for experts from outside. Find solutions that will work for you. Teachers working in schools in the same area can arrange to meet up on a regular basis and hold discussions at a local hub. One example we heard was at the tea stall. We can also help each other by friendly peer observation. We learn a lot by watching each other and reflecting on our own teaching. You can ask your colleague to focus on a particular area during observation. For example, look out for how I give instructions. New teachers can ask for a more experienced teacher to help them plan their lessons and sort out problems. Whether you are a novice or an experienced teacher, I'm sure there are lots of ways that you could develop professionally by getting together with your colleagues. I've always found it very useful in my teaching, and I'm sure that you will too. So on that note, it's time to say goodbye. This is Manisha Dak signing off. Until next time, happy teaching!